GG rating out of the entire tournament yesterday. So there's a lot playing into that. But the problem is with everybody on Reciprocity looking so consistent, I don't know if Timsy still falling behind in the fragging department is going to be enough for TSM to get over the hump here. But we're going to find out as we're already into the first map and already into the ban phase.
That is definitely got to be on TSM's mind. Can Timsy win those ones? There was plenty of rounds yesterday that were right inside of their grasp just if Timsy wins that one gunfight. Might be those shakes on main stage that we thought coming into this. It's his first land. Hopefully those are gone now. But we're rolling through bans pretty quickly, folks. Mav, Jackal already gone, so pretty regular bans. The Maverick kind of out of the ordinary for hard destruction, but you're going to have your two standard ones in Habana as well as Thermite. And a really, really weird one coming out. We're going to have Reciprocity remove Vigil.
Very specific ban, it seems, for them not wanting to deal with just that roaming presence and not wanting to deal with the delays that can be caused by trying to track down the specific position of a Vigil, which it's not that hard to, it's a bit hard to see that just from a layman's perspective watching the game, but if you're paying attention to sort of attacking teams' delay, and if you notice a Vigil in the field, oftentimes it's because they can't actually figure out where the Vigil is. So I suppose they're going to try banning that out and seeing if it'll speed up the possibility of their attacks.
Also, a flashback to yesterday for TSM on defense. They did use Vigil quite often for delay, so it's a cover pick for quite a few of their players, as it is in regular rotation for them. Laxing already 6 picking off as he picks up the Warden. Reciprocity, one of the first teams to really adopt Warden into their lineups for Bank, so you're more than likely going to see a blue stairs hold here.
In fact, to be specific, I think the largest majority of the lineups that TSM often use where they win usually ends up with Vigil in the lineup. So there is a very specific target ban reason, not to any particular player, but to the team as to why Reciprocity may have chosen to ban it out.
A lot of the times inside of these competitive environments, it's the spot bans that matter, the ones that actually strike at the heart of the team, rather than, hey, we're kind of used to not having this, but it's going to be off the field anyways because everyone thinks it's strong.
Yep. So it's actually not even that dominant either. Looking at their compositional lineups that they've run in the past where they've had Vigil in it, there's really only one of those where they use Mozzie along with Legion, Jaeger, and Pulse where they win a large majority of the rounds. Other than that, there's just not a large enough sample size to get data from at this point. But yeah, it's an interesting pick either way from Reciprocity, so probably just coming off of yesterday's results. So we do have TSM on the field here, and we're going to start seeing them push in to start this basement attack.
They did such a great job at dominating this map on the offensive side with roam clears and everything. There was no real chance yesterday for a roam to come back and bite them of all the great showings, so we'll see how they start off Bank today. Team Reciprocity does enjoy those roam games and they love those aggressive holds, but usually on Bank, they do tend to just sit downstairs because anybody that does roam upstairs on a downstairs hold is typically a dead man walking because there's so many dang windows throughout this entire map.
Still a lot of drone work being done here by TSM. Achieved specifically taking control of Square first and to watch out now for the presence that they might get back from the stairs. This was a large part of the match that TSM played in yesterday versus EG, was just trying to get down these stairs and get access to the site. They had a lot of problems dealing with the smoke that was often positioned here. Now Reciprocity doesn't have a smoke here. They do have a Warden in that position to try and hold this off. As far as I can see, no ADSs that he currently has able to fend off nades here. So one more is going to get shot down at him. Will actually able to do a whole lot of damage, and there's a big surprise. There's 2 players hiding out in here. Vertical is going to be able to get 2. He loses his teammate, or at least has him go down, but no! Vertical switches to the pistol, manages to take out Timsy as well. That's 3 for him, a massive play. He's dropped the diffuser as well.
What else would you expect from Vert getting super aggro? But one man has been down. It's Laxing, downed by Timsy. Foxed it with a nice nitro cell as the hatch gets open, takes down Geo. It's all left up to Bolo in a 1 versus 5 as Laxing gets picked back up. Vertical still pocketing some ADSs, sets those down so doesn't have to worry about any concussions pouring in from the door. This is more than likely going to be a wash here unless Bolo can pull out some heroics. Moves on over to the impacts now, and actually his last concussion will pour through, but there's 2 people lying in wait. A quick shotgun shot and a flawless round for Reciprocity to start us off.
Nice hold from Rec, a solid basement play, and once again, TSM is going to find themselves getting tripped up and trying to get access to those stairs leading down to server. Similar problems to what was showing up yesterday in the EG game. Let's see how they look to change that up. Now, obviously, the site will change with Reciprocity winning on the defense, and they're going to follow the expected route so far, these sites, just heading directly upstairs after the victory on basement.
Executive and CEO, a site that a lot of teams hold very aggressively to those northern windows because a lot of people like to repel on them. Might see some spawn kills, might see some high-flying action as well, since Laxing is on Valkyrie, more than likely going to try and get some information to the outside, but Bubba's going to directly counter that as he flicks back and forth onto the IQ, but it'll eventually get locked in as we're locked in for round 2 of this absolute heater of a match so far.
Set up now. Vertical playing onto a dock this time, so already having a great performance in that first round is now going to try to get even more complex and maybe even a little bit greedy, if I do say so myself, depending on what he's going to try to do at the beginning of this round. We'll see exactly what that is in a couple seconds here.
As opposed to how TSM was handling things yesterday, playing up against Evil Geniuses, EG has a completely different play style than what Reciprocity has. Reciprocity is super aggro. It's more of a hybrid aggro style. They keep a couple people on site, but they continue this rotation of just 2 to 3 people that roll around the map and get kills. Or you have people like Vert who just walk up blue and continually frag out along the way because he just keeps getting those one-on-one gunfights because that's all Reciprocity wants. TSM currently giving them those situations, and right now is when they already need to make that adjustment and go, okay, we're not playing against EG anymore, we're playing against Reciprocity. They want these gunfights, we need those supporting angles, we have to play this right or we're going to lose this early.
So TSM wasting no time on spawn. Merc already going to move himself to the square doorway. He'll have his teammate on Skylight knock out the door for him so that he can move in and start checking out what things look like on the inside. It looks like there is a little bit of drone work that they just do in square before they commit themselves to it. So not too much delay here. It's also still good 2.5 minutes remaining, so no need to rush things. Either way for TSM anyway. They do have a pretty nice drone inside of Janitor as well that more than likely won't get noticed by anyone on Rec. There's one right up on top of the very top left shelves as you go in the room from the elbow, sitting over in the hallways there. So that will probably be a good amount of intel to the attackers and make getting into Janitor, should they choose, a lot easier for TSM. There we go. They strike first this time. Able to find Foxay. Also trying to go for the next pickup over here. They find Laxing hiding inside of Janitor entry, and they're going to be able to take him out.
Electrical room, very sneaky. Retro waiting with impacts in hand. Gets the first one. Needs some assistance from the window by Geo. That tactical crossbolt can definitely handle the situation so that they can get the wall open. Timsy ready with another one, but he's already had quite a bit of damage dealt to him, so hopefully the impact doesn't down him. They need the firebolt right now, but no, it's not going to be enough. They didn't time it well. Retro gets away, and also, wait, no, he doesn't get a kill. Geo actually takes him down. Merc gets another. That's going to be Nyx. It's all down to Vertical now in a 1 versus 5. Seems like a mirror match from last time. Get the Toby eye tracker up so you guys can see exactly what's going on as he removed Merc from the game. Drone coming in towards meeting, fires through the wall into Janitor, but doesn't find too much. Vertical twisting and turning finally gets shut down by Achieved, and TSM ties things up. 2
very one-sided rounds right now, and that's going to make for a really interesting game if it continues to be that pace for the opening few rounds here, possibly even the opening half. Rec dominates on that server stairs hold in the first round when taking control of the basement for their first defensive win. On the second floor, things aren't nearly as clean, and TSM was just a pretty straightforward square take, are able to win out the second round.
Overall, a pretty impressive showing from TSM. They couldn't even get the wall open, but they were still able to find those frags. And that's the one downfall to the playstyle of Reciprocity is when you're that aggro and you end up losing people early on, if it snowballs, the round is practically the offense or defense, depending on what side you're on. It's your opponent's round. TSM just took things pretty leisurely, did the proper things, droned out properly, find Laxing downstairs in the electrical room, and find a few stragglers as well, knock it down to the 1v5 that Vert had to try and bring it back from, but obviously those don't happen very often in this category of play.
We're going to see Rec once again reinforcing everything. Not really much of a reason as to why this would have changed so much. Still going to see the dock being played over by Vertical. We do have the Echo in play this time as well. Necessarily believe we had in the previous round, so they are adding a little bit of utility, it seems. I'm going to try and see if they do a better job of fending off the relatively quick play from their opponents there and getting square control. And then unfortunately, the lost duels that were taken by Reciprocity that would lead to the eventual outcome of the round in TSM's favor.
Well, a lot of information game set up for Reciprocity in the likes of Fox, Vert, and Laxing. Valkyrie is, oh, excuse me, not Vert, Nyx. Apologies there. So Echo, Maestro, as well as Valkyrie, that's a lot of cameras on the field, and that's a lot of work for Bolo to do, but obviously he really can't deal with any of those evil eyes since they do have a bulletproof casing on the outside. So gonna need the sledgehammer or some explosive to get rid of those, more than likely going to be achieved with that sledge as TSM starts to clear. Traditionally speaking, they've been taking from ATM or having someone set on ATM windows, peering into the top floor or west windows, depending on what the site is. And Bolo's found quite a few picks for them because of these windows, at least up against Evil Geniuses. We haven't seen him be too successful, but he really hasn't had to be. Team Reciprocity, especially in that last round, were showing a lot of face, and TSM kind of claimed them all.
So TSM, once again, getting easy access to square to start this off. Nice spot as well, knocks out Laxing's camera. Relative ease there, so not going to be able to glean any info from that. They do spot the Valkyrie itself too. Drone positioning right now for TSM has been really good, and I think it's caught them quite a bit of extra intel. They had that drone in the previous round too, which may explain why they were able to get in to those sites upstairs so easily despite not having great access. There is still one good camera for Laxing here. You can see the square stairs from Retro though. Goes crazy, jumping out. That's just for a starting kill. Bolo going to wrap back now. See him out, finally locates him in the corner. Was being a little bit cautious of a second jump out just in case they wanted to secure Retro, but no, it will indeed just be a 1-for-1 at the end of the day. Achieves spamming into the window, nearly gets a member of Reciprocity. I'm not sure if he saw Foxe or it just worked out that way. But either way, he dodges it and falls back towards the site.
Well, the issue that's on the table for TSM now is that you don't have anyone on your north windows, and you're definitely going to need that. You can't counter out all of these impacts, but Retro's already dead, so they don't have too much to worry about unless Foxe can possibly get to the wall and has his impacts on his Maestro. If he doesn't, then they can just get the wall open for free. They don't have to worry about any electricity or anything of that sort that could possibly deny them the wall. Timsey's actually already got it open. We just did not hear it go off. Timsey with a couple of shots towards Nyx, lights him up, but not enough to be fatal. Bolo finally gets taken down. Nyx with a repeat takes down Timsey. Diffuser now down at the top of square as everyone's following suit. Laxing to take down achieved. Merc, the only remaining member alive for TSM. He's yokai'd everything on his shoulders right now as every bit of utility falls down on top of him.
Just far too much for Merc to deal with there. No hope of winning it, sadly. So Foxe will eventually just spam into him, taking him out and claiming the second round for Rec. Also, importantly, controlling that upstairs site finally. Basement, I believe, just got unlocked, so they're going to go back to that and just try to go in a bit of a circle here.
All right, well, as we complete the makeshift side triangle, only getting through two rounds here.
More of a sight line, right?
Yeah, more of a sight line.
Next round, it could become a triangle.
TSM kind of threw a wrench into that, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, all right, well, 6th pick right off rip. Laxing going over to the Warden because he doesn't want to tell straight to the other team that, hey, we're going downstairs. Bolo shifting things because obviously mental math, they're more than likely going to go downstairs. And you want that utility to try and deal with blue stairs. Hopefully they will be able to successfully take this time and recognize out that Reciprocity is going to be more aggressive, because that's what they did the last time. They're more than likely going to stack blue. They don't want you to take control of server, so you're going to have to fight fire with fire. Either burn out their utility and try and get some nades down while peeking with them. We saw that attempt by Achieve the last time. It didn't work out, where he actually had 3 successful attempts with it yesterday. He finally found somebody that would win out the gunfight, and it just happened to be Vert.
Let's see if Laxing is going to stick with the same role of playing into those server stairs. He kind of had an interesting draw where it seemed like his hold was going to work, but he ended up being the first to get picked, and it was Vert instead on the Jaeger that did most of the heavy lifting there once he went down. But we'll see if they're going to put him in that same position again, or if they're just going to commit Vert to it now instead of having him roam somewhere else. But it does look like it's pretty much the same setup as round number 1. They're going to have that Warden on Laxing do the defensive setup to try and keep TSM out of basement.
2 members sitting instead of blue stairs for Team Reciprocity, currently Laxing and Vertical, as well as Fox rocking the cardiac sensor for the pulse as the traditional clear comes through from TSM. Start ATMs, clear out top floor with drones, get control of the open area, get those hatches open. That's all on the list for them right now, and that's why you see Geo on Habana. Maverick more than likely coming out because TSM likes to cheese whiz that wall, or excuse me, Swiss cheese that wall downstairs on server so that Geo can shoot nitro cells out of the air while Timsey's trying to put a diffuser down. So both of the bans for Team Reciprocity are check bans to TSM. Pretty interesting coming out from them.
Chief going to start to make a run down to the main floor here now that they have droned out the large majority, I believe, of the 1st and 2nd floor. Have security.
See you on the
other side. They're not going to be contested upon moving down. And you can tell there is not necessarily a will to go towards those server stairs from TSM. In fact, it looks like they're going to be avoiding it entirely, potentially doing an elevator drop and main stairs play instead, which makes sense. There's a lot of presence over on those Visa stairs right now and not nearly as much on the other side. That's going to change quickly, though. As you can tell, Vertical and a few other players like Retro have already started to catch on to this and are rotating into defensive positions.
Should be too hard for Reciprocity to read into this. I mean, they do have Foxay on the cardiac sensor. He can tell you where everyone is. Achieved is high talented in though. Throws himself down the elevator, takes down Vert. That's a man who shut down the push. Downstairs last time, Merv with a quick prone angle, flips that through the wall, does a little bit of damage, but not very much at all. Gunfight with Nyx inside a garage, but Trade's coming back, and now Team Reciprocity finally equalizing. Bolo on top of Nyx. Foxay rotates to try and shut them down on these hatch drops right on the tail of Timsy. Does he know where he is, though? He's got his feet if he hops over on that slight angle, but close to the window is exactly where he waits, trying to make sure that they cannot get shot. All down to Foxay now as Laxing loses his life. Jumps over, more than likely heard that. Can the shots go through? And Timsy wins it out. He's winning gunfights today, folks.
Timsy taking a nice duel at the end. He is able to get the better of Foxay ultimately with the angle and win it out. A bit of a Hail Mary switch up from TSM, but it's done in a very fast and very efficient way so that Rec did not have the opportunity to properly adjust. And even when they did, seems like they overplayed their hand. Most players in the late round, they're dying to that execute due to their own aggression rather than TSM's.
Well, hopefully that can inspire the TSM roster to bring in more of that frag power. Again, they play against these guys on a regular basis. They're both inside of North America. They know this play style. They just have to reach out and grab it. That's all they have to do. We've talked so much over this weekend about TSM's frag potential and what they can do with that three-headed monster that Rams was talking about yesterday. They're like a Hydra, man. You cut one head off and another one shall appear. They still have Geo in the back pocket, and if Timsy comes online, oh my. That is a dangerous, dangerous setup.
I mean, yeah, if Timsy gets himself into a position where he feels more comfortable and is able to get, you know, like something close to like a 50-50 1v1 rating, this team is going to be unstoppable based on the way they played yesterday.
Absolutely.
It should be a 2-0 for TSM in my eyes at that point. But if it doesn't happen, that's where Rec will start to take control. So this is a very, very close match, just like the one versus EG yesterday. TSM really has their work cut out for them here at USM.
They both really do, because TSM has these bursts of speed. There isn't just an aggressive front like Reciprocity will put on. They put on an aggressive face, sprint right to where they want. They try and take map control very quickly. TSM's very methodical at the beginning of rounds. Take their time, drone things out. They know the sections of the map that they can have control of for free. They take those, then start to, you know, traverse to other areas in order to take control of those. Once they have the map control that they need, then is when those aggressive bursts start coming out. Get the hatches open. Somebody hatch drops, like Achieve, dropping down the elevator in E1. You don't see that stuff happen too often in work. And that's why it's so confusing with TSM, because you're like, okay, they're moving very slowly through the map. Oh wait, Achieve's in sight and I'm shot. It's very, you know, confusing when you are on site and all of a sudden someone just spawns, basically.
It's happened all too many times, or at least seemingly happened anyway. So we do have TSM going to start taking some map control here relatively soon, with the 2-minute warning soon to come up for these guys. Not a whole lot for them to work with just yet, but they are being cautious due to how aggressive Team Rec has been playing up to this point, and obviously has been known to play in the past. So a lot of droning emphasis for these guys right now. Again, methodical style to the play. They don't want to give anything over to Rec that they don't have to, so they want to check everything before they commit.
They're definitely going to want to check everything, because there's plenty of reinforcements upstairs that aren't traditionally there on these style of holds. Specifically, they need to drone and make sure that they know that Laxing is inside of E1. He's inside the elevator with the hatch open. They reinforce the elevator walls towards Lone Office as well. Laxing's going to drop off now as the goo mine goes off into Achieve's foot. So now they have all the map presence that they need in order to go for the next couple of steps. Also, line and wait on that mid-floor, though. Foxay and Vert, currently inside of small office and open area, but TSM's working on other things. They're working on the server wall already.
They're going to see a bit of spam come through since that is a soft wall on that Hibana charge, but not a lot of it going to get killed. They still managed to get a pretty decent sized hole in the wall here. Achieved. Get himself forward, but the problem is they hadn't realized that those players were hiding inside of the small office and open. Foxay and Vert pick up 2 quick kills. And that's already going to be Timsy and Geo out of the fight, along with both of the hard breachers too. Achieved, now going to be the next to fall here as the trap is sprung and it works flawlessly. Foxay gets himself a new Pokemon as he takes care of Achieved. Laxing finds the next. Everything on Merc in a 1v5, and he doesn't have a hope of shutting this down with 35 seconds left.
More than likely going to get collapsed on top as well, but now everyone's actually rotating. Nyx and Retro the only two on site. The other three remain upstairs. Likely rotating behind Merc as he holds an angle, just waiting. Retro's got a Nitro Cell in hand. Seeing if Merc will possibly go for a plant, but doesn't even have Diffuser. Nitro Cell goes off, doesn't bag him too much, but it will blow the door open for Merc, as Merc actually gets a kill up to the hatch onto Foxay. Toby Eye Tracker online for you guys, so you can see exactly where Merc's looking and see his eyes as they close for the last time in this round.
Is going to be Reciprocity, shutting things down as Nyx picks up the final kill for these guys. Merc finally caught.
Okay, so I'm just going to say it. You drone out everything, but you don't drone the area where you're going to blow a hatch? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's very important, it would seem. But, like, again, it's not, I guess it's not normally played into.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why you drone. That's why drones exist, Blue.
Oh, here we go. Rex going to have some fun now.
Uh-oh. Staff room, open area.
So they're going to bypass working their way over towards the teller's office. You were talking about this yesterday, I think, during the TSM game, about how we had seen teams start to choose this site specifically over tellers a lot more recently. And we're going to see an example of that here with Rec.
Well, the reasoning, I actually had a discussion with Zoronic a little while ago. I believe it was in Japan. We had a discussion about this site on this map. This is the only site in the entire map that there's a way to drop into it and a way to drop out of it. So you can actually really quickly rotate on and off of site. So it's very creative in that way. Now it's going to be interesting to see what Team Reciprocity does with that, because as we all know, they never do anything traditional. So we'll see where these reinforcements lie.
Very, very true. Well, it's looking like we do have a few players that are going to be playing off-site and doing some roam work here in the early round. It actually appears though it's quite a few. But we'll wait a couple seconds to see who ends up, you know, still setting things up like reinforcements and is going to end up roaming back. And we'll get a better picture for what their actual plan is here.
Well, at first glance, it seems like a full horizontal hold with how they have the reinforcements and setups. They have a lot of soft destruction done to the walls for archives, as well as the bottom of square, just to try and be a nuisance to anyone that possibly rotates through there. Also, they have a little bit of top pressure. There shouldn't be too much that TSM can't handle. They're starting their take inside of the office, but they do have to worry about quite a few Nitro Cells. That's 3 Nitro Cells on the defense, Blue. That's a lot of explosives.
Achieved, going to see that upstairs here in CEO, where we don't have the site, it's going to be quite clear for the taking. And that's not entirely true. There still is going to be the Mute hiding out on the inside of Janitor. Maybe at least one more up here too. Just hard to see the silhouettes at this time. Merc's going to go ahead and set up a Claymore just to stop any quick little run-ups from those square stairs. Besides that, Achieved also keeping eyes out, trying to locate Laxing, but will get the better of him. And now retreats down Spiral from that front desk position, or tries to anyway. Bolo is going to catch the better of him from that front entrance at ATMs. Trades it back, down to a 4v4.
Well, steady goings for TSM so far through this offensive round, and this is going to be their last one before they shift things on over to defense. The sheer amount of soft destruction that they have done to these walls has got to be absolutely daunting for TSM. This is a lot of drone work, a lot of information. There's literally no one home upstairs, but as you can see, Timsy and Bolo still very, very scared of who could possibly be lying in wait, just because of what happened to them on that last round, where all of a sudden, everyone seemed to be on the mid-floor when they didn't think anyone was home. TSM shifting things towards lobby now.
So Rec still kind of patiently waiting, at least as far as their type of play is concerned. This push coming from TSM. TSM now with less than a minute in order to make this happen. We've got Timsy, front tellers, ready to burst open a wall. We do have the castle on the other side of this, so he's going to be in an awkward spot. Just takes the fight directly, and he's going to win it. Foxay finding a frag against Bolo. Timsy there a moment later to trade it, however. Still even at a 3v3, but time now nearly non-existent for TSM. This execute needs to come in, and it needs to come in now.
TSM needs to make some magic happen here in order for this to work out. They have one more person to try and beat out. It's Vertical sitting inside of Archives, and they'll have access. A couple shots, tag up Timsy. Also a bullet making it into the shoulder of Merc. Geo loses out the first gunfight, knocking it down to the 2 versus 3. Only 15 seconds remain as they try and pressure on the site. Hot marks come in for, I believe, Merc. Lasers coming through as well. A nice shot. Timsy gets taken down, but Merc to win it out. Retro with the shotgun and the SMG-11. Doesn't matter what weapon, the man is lethal.
Reciprocity remaining consistent here. Been able to win out on the staff open area site right before they switch side. Just throwing a little bit of a curveball at TSM before the half ends, but they do manage to sustain a solid 4-2 lead coming off that defensive half. Now only 3 more from a Map1 victory and a lead in this series.
All right, well, Lockers CCTV. We're going to be headed for the first defensive round of TSM, and we're relatively going to have the same setup that we saw yesterday, Merc rocking the castle, which, as we traditionally talk about on this site, you don't see too often, but they like it for splitting up the upstairs just for the roamers to be a little bit more comfortable. Also, those impacts are very handy at making rotates quickly as to not waste people's time. Well, TSM was apparently the Sonics now, but despite that, I have some reinforcements going up top just to extend that roam a little bit.
So once again, basement defense here for TSM. Probably for this first round, I would expect them to defend it pretty normally. You saw Rec make a couple of adjustments. Unfortunately, didn't really pan out too much into their favor, with TSM eventually able to get more free control of areas like server stairs, where before they were over-defended almost by Reciprocity. So some interesting stuff being tried by them on this basement. However, I believe TSM are going to play things pretty much to the traditional T that you would expect on this site. We've got a pulse play that's going to be on Achieve, so he's going to be able to see when the first players move in towards Square, and then probably, or actually the tunnel as well, of course. Then he's going to be able to fall back, play within gold bars when and if Rec are able to get control. As you can see, there is no presence coming from that direction to start this round, though. So we are going to see Rec move in towards ATMs, and I believe the backside as well here.
All right, well, Nyx on Ash. We saw this a lot yesterday in Reciprocity's matchup, and Nyx has not skipped a beat since coming from Dark Zero. The man still got it. He's looking for these frags once again. Reciprocity overall yesterday showed every bit of fragging prowess that they had, and Laxing will be the first one on the offense to start things off with Reciprocity. And he's going to take out one of the most important people on TSM. It's going to be Bolo.
Do have a soft wall left open over here next to the small office in front lobby, so that's going to pop open a hole into the main hallway. Give them quite a bit of view here to work off of. Nyx will go fragging once again. Now is able to find himself the next pickup against the Merc. Tried to chase one more, but it seems that member of TSM that was on the main stairs, I believe either Geo or Achieved, is going to end up falling back down. Looks like it was Geo.
Well, plenty of pressure for Reciprocity now, so should be able to take things over very easily. Still have Foxday up, everyone on full HP and healthy for Reciprocity after checking those vitals, so rotating over to blue now with EMPs and the rest of their utility. Timsy, Geo, and Achieve, the only 3 alive for TSM. Reciprocity bearing down on blue stairs. I'll have to see how long Timsy can possibly survive here. Another EMP coming in. No frag grenades, just stun grenades now pouring in as Timsy twists and turns to try and avoid the stuns. Shotgun in hand. Can definitely deal with the pressure if it comes to all these stuns now pouring in. They peek through. He does plenty of damage to Nyx, but the shotgun sells him out. And it's going to be a double kill for Nyx on the round. Vertex on. It's all left up to Achieve in a 1 versus 5.
Trying to do something here. Drone's already going to find his position. He takes an immediate duel at main stairs, and Vert shuts it down. Reciprocity closes out their opening attack with a flawless round. That does not look good for TSM.
Well, roam game not working out too hot for TSM, and that's going to be calls for a timeout. It is their map pick. You guys heard Reciprocity themselves. They're ready for this. They wanted to go to Bank. They thought that that was the map that they were going to go to, and they'd be correct. So, as you guys can tell from the bands as well, they kind of knew exactly what they were doing when walking into this one. Poach thinking that he's got a couple of thoughts, and overall, TSM, it just feels like on the roam game so far, they haven't been supporting each other as much as they were yesterday. Yesterday, you had everyone kind of clustered up as that wrecking ball crew that was just ruining everything that the offense was attempting to do. This time around, it was a lot of single one-on-one gunfights that Reciprocity just got to take over and over again and just steamrolled the defense.
So, Reciprocity at this point looking very solid. TSM realizes this. They've taken a pause, trying to figure out what exactly has been going wrong in these defensive rounds, maybe extending outwards too much. They need to play more passively. Now, TimZ definitely has had a visible improvement in his ability to take gunfights comparatively to yesterday. So I don't think that's a major factor in the issues for TSM anymore here. I'd like to see the stats when we get in game just to kind of double confirm that. But I think overall, TimZ's been putting up a much better fight in this matchup than we saw yesterday. So now it's more on getting over the very, very strong prowess that we're seeing right now from Rec when it comes to these mid-round adjustments they're making, along with just getting past the individual players themselves. And I think that pretty much speaks for itself.
Yeah, this has been definitely an upgrade for Reciprocity inside of their playstyle. It's truly incredible to see what they did with these roster moves. It's kind of like getting a Mustang, you know, but then you get the GT and you're like, oh, well, this is a lot faster. You know, it just seems like they've really just beefed up everything that they were about, and I'm really here for it. It's overall been fantastic with their playstyle, especially on defense. Bank is a map that I didn't really feel like fit Reciprocity's playstyle for their defensive setups, but they're proving me wrong so far. Very creative in some of the ways that they handle things, especially that open area defense.
Yeah, I mean, Vert specifically for me has been looking really good. Like, he kind of just fit on this team like a glove, it seems. He's been flowing in it back to the first round, right, where he pulls off that crazy stairs hold. So going to bring these types of plays here. This is already a team where we're known for seeing stuff like that happen pretty regularly. And, you know, just like TSM with their own pickup of Geo, it's a really, really smart addition overall.
Yeah, the additions of Vert and Nyx, I don't know if you can compare them to anything else inside of NA at this time. I mean, a lot of people were spitballing what was going to happen with Dark Zero, saying that that was a top move. I think you kind of have to argue this. Big pick coming out, though, while we are bantering back and forth with roster moves and everything else. Merc's going to take down Retro. That's one of the hard destructors and a very important one at that off the field.
Big delay that's going to come from this is someone has to go all the way back there to get the diffuser now.
Yeah, that's a long ways away.
So like, you know,
it's 80 meters across the roof.
Yeah.
That's like, it's like a 15-second run. And Retro, that might not matter now, but it's going to matter at the end of the round.
Yeah, it's going to cost them. It's going to cost at least one player a solid, you know, 20, 30 seconds here to go get that. So that's going to waste quite a bit of time, even if they're ready for their execute, which of course they're not. This could cause issues. Achieved has some nice vision over there on the main stairs. It's going to be calling this out for sure. Gets himself just a direct ping onto it. Merc moves in to finish him off. That's Nyx going down. Easy frag so far here for TSM. And there we go. They just got that diffuser back.
Yes, they
Remember, they've got to walk all the way back into the building now is the other issue. However, Vert getting away with murder on Geo takes him out with no answer and gets a bit of damage, I believe, onto Achieved as well.
The issue is now, though, they know exactly where he is. They know he's in sight, and they have every single pathway to get into sight locked down. So Foxy's going to have to try and frag out with the help of Laxian in order to get themselves on sight. Vert can obviously do his due diligence and try and get a couple more frags to open up some more pathways. Holes coming in from the top now by, I believe, TimZ with a secondary shotgun. Don't exactly, yep, it is TimZ upstairs. Laxton's going to light him up a bit, but Tim still remains alive as we get down to that minute mark. Foxy's worked his way back. That's the man with the diffuser, so he's going to be playing a little bit more passively until they can finally get that diffuser onto site. Need to deliver that payload, but Bolo takes down Lax, and that's going to make this even more difficult. They're spread thin. Vert's trying to work things out inside of sight, dumps the mag, flicks to the other door, sees one, but he can't get the head. Oh, they're on both ends. Fox finally gets Achieve on rotation. Can he win it out? He can. Vert knocked it down to the double here. 2 versus 2 with that double kill. Pre-fires flying everywhere now. Not too much pressure on site. Bolo and TimZ remain. TimZ not very much HP either. I believe he's rotated off. No, he's actually still upstairs. Ah, no, I'll eat my words. He's actually out by pillars inside of lobby, sitting right next to the desk. We're gonna life him up real quick as Foxy starts to put this diffuser down. They're holding the 2 doors. They have to pitch at the same time, though. They have to make this work out. Bolo runs right into him, and this is the time for the man to make it happen, but he can't, and Vert with a quad shuts them all down. TimZ going for the utility instead of the lead, and it doesn't work out for him.
Vert fitting into the team like a glove, more like a gun it seems, as he once again rips his way through the entire TSM lineup. A 4K for him. I believe that's the second one on the map as well, if you count round number 1. That's going to be Rec at 6-2, just dominating TSM on bank right now. And again, a lot of that play coming out from players like Vert, who is going absolutely lights out right now in this map.
Well, Reciprocity allowing bank through.
Let's talk about the fact that, like, Reciprocity has no business winning that round. That goes down, I believe, to a 2v4 or 2v5 at one point.
Done.
They had to waste 40 to 50 seconds to go out of the building, go get the diffuser because it got picked at the start.
The part I want to highlight so bad is that Vert sat in sight for a minute and 15 seconds. He killed someone and just sat there. And that's not something that TSM usually allows. They usually have these aggressive players who are like, okay, I'll take the gunfight, let's go. And nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to gunfight Vert. They just let him sit there the entire time, and he continued to be a thorn in their side. And eventually, that thorn got infected, and they ended up losing the round because of it. All because Vert was allowed to maintain pressure inside of sight, and then they let Foxay get it.
So, TSM now up against the wall, at least when it comes to this map. It's a best of 3 though, folks, and don't panic just yet if you're here rooting for them. They need to lose an additional one on top of this to be eliminated from the bracket.
5 seconds
Get knocked out of these conference finals before they make it on to the Grand Championship of USN itself.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
Well, do or die time now for TSM on their defense. Get a couple cast barricades to 11 hits because it takes 12 to break them. Quickly rotate through those and they keep their same integrity for bullets. So nice little trick there for you guys at home. They're relatively new to the game. Very creative way to handle things. Team Reciprocity focused on garage take. Plenty of drones pouring in now just to make sure that nobody is sitting at the back. But since this map is so big, more than likely not going to be anyone. But hey, once again, I'm going to be wrong. There's going to be Geo waiting because he's recognized more than likely that Reciprocity tends to gain access downstairs. There's a bunch of drones waiting here for him as well.
Let's see, Geo does have a camera to play into in the back of that van. Vision tries to take the duel. The drone throws him off at just the last second, though. So close to winning that battle versus Nyx. Merc is here, though, and he's going to look to try and trade these back as he finds the initial trade onto Vert himself.
Fantastic kill. Nyx still on the Ash, but very low HP. Fun fact coming in for you guys right now, TSM has not been able to figure out the basement site. They have a 36% win rate on it in their last 6 games, including an 0-3 in this tournament.
Foxay looking for options here now as he works himself around tellers on top of one of the main hatches. That should get bursted in just a couple of moments here. Nyx trying to push himself forward, taking care of some of the soft wall, sitting in the next room, so as to hopefully give him earlier vision onto an opponent hiding behind it. Nothing scouted out from that, however, so the 2 or 3 man team that's stuck here right now is going to remain stuck for the time being.
Reciprocity, very methodical with this garage take, still a ton of people. Merc holding a pixel, pre-fires back through, trying to play it off the edge. Bolo shows up, and no, it's achieved from downtown to take down Foxay. A quick flick from Retro, can he get them both? He can, he downs them both. Oh, but finally Timsy shows up, and he's the savior. But Nyx cleans things up. He's got quite a bit of damage dealt to him, but do they know Laxing's inside of sight? Nyx gonna relocate himself. Laxing just waiting inside of server, but the diffuser's down in garage, and that's gonna put Team Reciprocity into a pickle. They're split between these last 2 defenders. Does TSM know that they had the diffuser down though?
It's going to be a big question. Based on the way that they're playing, I would have to say yes. 38 seconds, and Nyx is going to try to make a play like this. Up on top of the police car, into small office, and then more than likely, at this point on the timer, I would have to say go down the main stairs. TSM, they've realized something's up. They don't have that presence in garage anymore. They know that the diffuser backed away, and they are frantically trying to find out which way it went. In the meantime, Laxing is still hunting. He has been pushed outside of the site. Nyx runs into a goo mine, but still gets the frag on Timsy. 12 seconds left, however, to at least start the diffuser process, and they can't fail it if they go past 0 timer. Achieve with a trade onto Nyx. That's the diffuser down a second time, but Laxing completes the rotate, brings in the upset on the round once again, and finishes off the 1v1 clutch. Reciprocity shut down map number 1, 7-2, and sit only 1 more wrap away from being the Western Conference champions and be our 2nd grand finalist for USN.
Reciprocity is looking so damn good right now, man. I don't know what what TSM has to do to really fix this. Again, it just feels like sometimes they are scared to go for these gunfights, and they definitely need to try and figure that one out. That late roam not working out for them. Also, laxing with a nice mask of his movement with that EMP grenade.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us for the time being. We'll be back for map number 2, but let's send it down to the desk to break this map down.